All right, no delay today. Just getting right into it. Just gonna go right back into working on it. So we're starting with the video here.
It's Matt here with Nightrun Studio, and in this final part of our skill tree series, we're going to look at how to add 3 final features. First off, we're going to look at how to make it so that when you do something like gaining a level, you get more ability points to spend. Secondly, we'll make it so that these skills actually do something. I'll give 2 examples in this video, how to change a stat like your maximum health, as well as how to enable a new ability like a special attack power. And finally, we'll add a toggle so that you can turn this panel on and off with a button press. All right, let's get started. All right, so first stop in this video is to make it so that we can gain ability points when we do something like leveling up. If you've got a different system set up, you can just go to whatever you want to award you with ability points and use the same code in that location. So let's open up our experience manager here, as this is where I want to get my ability points from. So first off, we just need to notify any listening scripts anytime we want to actually gain ability points. In my case, when I level up. So let's begin by creating a public static event action. We're going to be passing in an integer, which is the number of ability points we want to get. Finally, we'll give this a name. I'm going to call mine on level up. Now to get rid of that error message, we just have to add the namespace, letting the script know that we are using system. With the event created, we now just need to notify any listeners when we actually level up. I'll be doing this in my level up method. Notify any listeners.
Okay, I'll add this real quick. Using system. And it was, let's see, public static event action level up. Actually, was it for that? No. Action is capital. Int. On level up.
When we actually level up. I'll be doing this in my level up method. And here, just right at the bottom, we're just going to go on level up, add a question mark. We can then put a period and just invoke it. In the brackets here, we're just going to pass however many ability points we want to get. You could add logic here to have different points passed along on different conditions, but I just want to get 1 point each level. Now over in
It was on level up question mark dot invoke 1. I think. Let me double check.
our passed along on different conditions,
Yes.
but I just want to get 1 point each level. Now over in our skill tree manager, we've already created an update ability points method that we use to take our points away when we spend them. We'll be using that here in order to add the points as well. So let's just come up to our onEnable method. And once this enables, we're just going to tell it that we want it to subscribe to Experience Manager's onLevelUp event. We can then copy that line, head to onDisable, and unsubscribe. Now, anytime we level up, the update ability points method will be called, giving us 1 ability point. Now currently,
Shit, which one was it? This one. I think. Yeah. Skill tree manager.
Level up, the update ability points method will be called, giving us 1 ability point. Now currently we have no way in game to toggle our menu, so I'm just going to click on the canvas and set its alpha to 0 so we can see what's happening. Now when I get in the game, I can go around and I'll have to actually level up, so I'll just quickly defeat these goblins. And now once I gain a complete level, I can open my menu again by changing the alpha back to 1, and you'll notice that my points are now up to 6. Okay, so now that we can gain ability points, let's make it so they do something other than just turn on icons. For my first example, I'll show how to add to our max health. So first off, I'm just going to head into my stats manager. If you've been following along in this series, you should have the same script. If not, you should be able to do this for whatever script you use to manage your health points. Now up to this point, we've just been directly modifying stats from other scripts whenever needed. However, we're going to start moving in a direction of something a little more robust. I also want to make it so that our stats manager has the ability to change our user interface. So to begin, let's just add the using TM Pro namespace. And now we're just going to make a public TMP text reference. We'll call this health text. And this is how we'll be able to actually change our max health on screen whenever the stat itself changes. We're going to create a new method here, which we're going to call update max health. We'll give it an integer, which will take in the amount we want to change our health by. Now, inside of this update max health method, we're just going to make it so that our max health is increased by whatever amount is, and we'll make our health text's text update so that it shows both current and max health, and the method I'll be using is HP current health / max health. Now, if any other script ever wants to modify our max health, it just needs to call this update max health method and pass in a number, and that will also update it in our UI.
No, what am I doing? TMP text. What did he call his? Health text, of course. Silly. Update max health. Int amount. I'm just going to pull this to the side. need to do this? I don't think so. I think it was by if it was by itself.
Max health. Now, if any other script ever wants to modify our max health, it just needs to call this update max health method and pass in a number, and that will also update it in our UI. Now, back in Unity, let's just hook this up. Mine is on my stats manager object, and I've got a box there now for my health text. I'll just click on my player UI and drag over my health text into that box. At this point, we're now ready to actually make it so that our skills update the max health when we click on them. To do this, I'm going to create one more script for this skill tree. We're going to call this one Skill Manager, as it will be what actually manages each individual skill we want to add. Now, for the moment at least, this is going to be a pretty simple script. What we really just need at this point is to be notified when an ability point is spent and to know what ability is actually being upgraded. So to do this, we want to get information from our skill slot, which calls this onAbilityPointsSpent method. You'll notice when it invokes, it sends over itself as a reference, which is how we're going to know which skill is being leveled up. So then, in our onEnable method, we're just going to subscribe to skill slot's onAbilityPointsSpent event. And whenever we're notified that an ability point has been spent, we're going to call the handleAbilityPointsSpent method. We'll then unsubscribe by copying this into the onDisabled method and just changing it to a negative. We can now create the handleAbilityPointsSpent method, and remember this one's just going to be taking in a skill slot reference, which we can just call slot. So first we just want to find out what skill is being upgraded. To do that, we're going to create a new string variable called skillName, and it's just going to look for the skill's name by looking at the slot, finding its skill scriptable object, and then just looking there for the name of the skill. Now that we've stored the skill's name, we're just going to create sort of a library of different skills that can be upgraded, and we'll sort through that library to find the one that matches this skill name. Now we could do this with a wild set of if statements, but if statements can get messy fast, and so here we're going to introduce a switch case method instead. So we can just type a switch. In this case, our switch will be the skill name, and then we'll come up with a bunch of different cases that could possibly happen. Now for our first case, we want to print in here the name of our skill that will upgrade our max health. If I pop back into Unity and go into my skills folder, I can see that I've created one, the first one in fact, on my skill tree, and it's called Max Health Boost. I'm just going to copy that name exactly. Now I'm just going to paste it in inside of quotation marks, and I've created my first possible case. We'll then add a colon, and underneath we can add as many lines of logic as we want, though fortunately ours is only going to take one. Here we're just going to talk to our stat manager.instance and tell it that we want to run its update max health method, and in this case I want to update by 1 each time. We then just type in break, which will break off the switch statements so that it doesn't keep looking through the library because it knows it's already found its match. We're then just going to add a little defensive check here, which is to create a default. This is what will run anytime the switch statements are unable to find a case that matches what we're searching. So especially if you've mistyped a name or something like that. Here we're just going to type a debug.log warning, and then in quotation marks we're just going to say unknown skill colon, and here I'm just going to add the skill name. That way we'll know exactly which skill it's having trouble finding if there's an error. We'll also just add a break one more time so that it knows this loop is complete.
Okay, I'll make this real quick. Snable. I guess I gotta do. Oh, but. This is a little different though. Okay. For now. Oh, wait. Let me do one last thing. Skill manager. What would I put this on? What's in it? Wait, did I do the right one? No, skill manager is different from skill tree manager. There we go. Wait, I've got it on two different. Oh no, I don't. It's under this. Okay, skill tree manager. Hmm.
Next, I'm just going to click on my skill canvas and make sure that we've added the skill manager so that it can actually run. And
just gonna run back real quick to see where he did the health text. Duh. Hey. I don't see it. I don't see it though. It should be here. It should be here. What is this yelling at? Player combat on Gizmo select. Alright. It's fine. It's just for seeing, I guess. Bro, what the fuck, man? Make sure this is right. Stat manager script. Stat manager. TMP health text. I think I gotta do this, right? Guess it's private by default. Give me that shit, bitch. So lock. I guess I gotta do a little two-parter. Um, Actually, I guess what I'm looking for is this. Specifically this. Should be right.
skills update the max health when we click on them. To do this, I'm going to create the skill's name. We're just going to create sort of, and it's called Max Health Boost. I'm just going to copy that name exactly. Now I'm just going to paste it in inside of quotation marks, and I've created my first possible case. We'll then add a colon, and underneath we can add as many lines of logic as we want, though fortunately ours is only going to take one. Here we're just going to talk to our stat manager.
I guess I'll do this. I do have to pull that over to the side though. Oh, actually, I didn't even need to do all this. I needed to do this. So they're all exactly what I'm expecting. I'm just gonna grab this and go, uh, 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 6. So now I can do dash. Now I can do frenzy. Now I can do fireball. Heal. And slap. Okay. Now at the very least that's in there. Back to this.
Dot instance and tell it that we want to run its update max health method. And in this case, I want to update
Hey
by
Tonkers, how's
1
it going,
each
man?
time. We then just type in break, which will break off the switch statements so that it doesn't keep looking through the library because it knows it's already found its match. We're then just going to add a little defensive check here, which is to create a default. This is what will run anytime the switch statements are unable to find a case that matches what we're searching. So especially if you've mistyped a name or something like that. Here we're just going to type a debug.log warning, and then in quotation marks, we're just going to say unknown skill : and here I'm just going to add the skill name. That way we'll know exactly which skill it's having trouble finding if there's an error. We'll also just add a break one more time so that it knows this loop is complete.
Right.
Next, I'm just going to click on my skill canvas and make sure that we've added the skill manager so that it can actually run, and we can test.
The skills canvas, where does he have this?
Skill canvas and make sure.
Oh, so it's just his overarching piece. So it's the same thing that I need to do. This? Yeah, so skill tree manager, boop, skill manager. And let's see. That's the other thing I need to do is press all the wrong buttons and set the available skill points to 0 by default. Okay.
Sure that we've added the skill manager so that it can actually run, and we can test. And with that done, each time I click on my HP boost, you can see that my max health is indeed going up by 1. All right, that's working pretty well. Now you can add all kinds of skills and abilities, but I want to show one more example of how you could unlock a skill potentially. For this case, let's actually disable my ability to attack, saying that only once trained will the player actually be able to attack. So I could do this by unclicking the player combat method here and disabling it. Now when I get in the game, I'll notice that I can no longer attack. The enemy
Really?
can still hurt me, but I have no way of fighting back. Now let's say that I just need to get a skill that gives me this ability to fight back before I can in fact do that. Obviously, this might not be the skill you want to use, but this can be a way that you
So you can
unlock
just
things
enable
like
and
ranged attacks
disable
or magic attacks. So to do
components
this,
like
we need
that?
to create a skill that will be able to toggle this combat ability. So let's head into our skills, right-click, and go to creating a skill. Let's call
Interesting.
this combat unlock, say, and then over here, I suppose the actual name of this ability could be sword slash. Let's give it a max level of 1 and select a sprite. I'm just going to go with this dark icon here because I don't have anything better. So now I'll just go into my skills canvas, into the combat tree as that's where this skill is, and I'm just going to use this very first box here. We can now just simply drag that combat unlock into the skill scriptable object. I want to make sure that it's unlocked, otherwise I won't actually be able to click on it when I get in the game. And now we just need to make sure that we actually create the ability to unlock this skill. So let's head back into our skill manager where we can create a new case. In this case, I'm going to add the sword slash ability. We'll just give that a colon, and now we can describe what we want to happen. Now, in order to unlock or enable the combat ability, we need a reference to that script. So let's just come up top where we can create a public player combat reference, and we'll just call this one combat. Now, in order to enable that ability, we just go combat.enabled equals true. We can then
really
break
simple.
the switch so that it does not keep working its way through. And I just added an extra colon here that we didn't need. Now I'm just going to click
Hey,
on my
Shy Tries.
skills canvas and
Doing
make
well.
sure that
How
I
are
drag
you?
a reference to the
Good to
combat
see you
script
guys.
into the skill manager. The script is on my player, so I can just put him in that box. Now when I get in the game, I'll just turn my alpha off on this canvas so I can see what's happening. And now even if I repeatedly push the attack button, he is unable to attack. We can then go into my canvas here. I'll just turn it back on.
It's good
Click
to hear,
on
man.
that ability. You'll see that it upgraded the icon. And now when I go back into the game, now when I push attack, he actually does something.
Well, I think today we're trying to finish our skill tree here, or I don't know about finish, but we're trying to make some progress on this. We're looking at this tutorial here for finishing his system, but since he's almost done, I'm getting a little bit worried that I might not get any exact explanation for how I want to fix my skill tree system. So his is a little bit different where he's got this kind of system here where you click on these skill nodes and they, for example, this one in the middle with the hearts on them, they increase the max health. And the way he explained it, it's pretty simple. It's really not that all that bad. But of course, I had to do something for myself where this part on the right, this kind of lines up with what he's talking about, but this part on the left, I gotta kind of figure out here. So some tutorial and some free balling, and we're gonna do our best.
And then over here, I suppose the actual name of this
Oh, I
ability.
guess I gotta go back to where I was at. Let's see.
And I just added an extra colon here that we didn't need. Now I'm just going to click on my skills canvas and make sure that I drag a reference to the combat script into the skill manager.
Okay,
The
that makes
script is on my
sense.
player, so I can just put him in that box. Now when I get in the game, I'll just turn my alpha off on this canvas so I can see what's happening.
And I know
even
he's
if I
about to make a button
repeatedly
press
push
to
the
open a
attack
certain
button,
menu,
he
but
is
I already
unable
did that
to attack.
one.
We can then go into my canvas here. I'll just turn it back on. Click on that ability. You'll see that it upgraded the icon. And now when I go back into the game, now when I push attack, he actually does something. All right, that's working out well. The only thing remaining at this point, though, is just the annoying fact that we keep having to manually turn our canvas on and off. So let's fix that next. Now, if you've been following the entire RPG series, you'll already have the ability to toggle your stats menu by pushing a key on the keyboard.
Yeah, that's the other thing is we're gonna make it talk to the stats menu
skill tree as
afterwards.
well. Now, the first thing we're going to do is just set up our buttons. So we're going to go to Edit, Project Settings, and head to our Input Manager. Here at the bottom, you can see I've created my Toggle Stats button, which is toggled with the button number 1. Now we just need to make one to toggle our skill tree as well. So up top here, I'm just going to make an exact copy of this by adding one more.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do this whole time. I don't want to just copy paste because I don't really feel like you learn anything other than,
skill tree, and I'm going to use button number 2.
you know,
This will create a
what he told you, and then that's only if it sticks. So I definitely like being able to adapt the instructions. That makes it feel like it sticks a little better.
Our menus where each number across the top of the keyboard toggles a different menu. Now this doesn't make for a highly sophisticated way to toggle between menus, and if you're interested in something more like a mini menu with buttons you can press to move back and forth between different menus, let me know in the comments, and if there's enough interest, I am toying with the idea of a 4th video where we could include that. In the meantime though, let's create a new C# script and just call this one Toggle Skill Tree. We can begin by getting rid of the start method, though we will hang on to update. And here we just want to make a public canvas group reference, which we can call stats canvas. That's how we're going to toggle this thing on and off. And we also need a private bool, skill tree open. We can initialize this to false, and this will just be what keeps track of the current state of our menu. Now, in the update method, we're just going to do a check. So if there's an input, which is get button down, toggle skill tree, make sure you spell this exactly as we did in our input manager. And whenever we do push the button, we're just going to check to see if the skill tree is already open. We'll also have to write some logic for the case where it is not.
Yeah, man, I already.
Now, if the menu's already open, we're just going to set our time.
I did this one, except I did it in a script that already existed. Which one did I do it though? Huh? I did put it in here in the stats UI. I wonder if that's not a good idea. I guess I'll see. If I have to separate them later, that's fine. But I did it in one script so that I could make it so that if either one of the menus was already open, it would close that menu and then open the menu that you wanted.
Scale back to
See
1,
what else he says, just to see.
Make our canvas's alpha go to 0, meaning it would become invisible, and finally make it so it no longer blocks any raycasts, meaning we would be able to detect clicks on other menus. The other thing we just want to do is toggle this skill tree open bool so that it now knows that it is false. We can then essentially do the exact opposite in our else statement here, making our time scale 0. Our canvas will become fully opaque.
Well, just add the liner in there to block the raycasts.
1. We
And
can
change that to
also
true.
turn blocking raycast back on, which will
Yep.
enable
Yep.
interactions with
Yep.
that level. And finally, make sure that our skill tree open is true. All right, so back in Unity, you can just click.
Okay, so let me just get that liner. Stat canvas.block raycast. And I don't, yeah, he doesn't have any variables for that. So for the stats, if attributes is open, which is the skills, we want to turn the attribute canvas off. And so we also want to do attribute canvas dot block raycast. So we're turning this one off, so this one needs to be false. So we'll grab this liner, and in the same one where we're setting the alpha to 0, we're also setting the raycast to false. And where we want, oh, sorry, that's actually the wrong one. That's for the stats. We want this one. And then this one where we actually turn it on, we want it to be true. So now the logic altogether should be when you're pressing the stats toggle button, if the attributes window is already open, turn the attributes window off as well as its raycasts and set the condition for if the attributes is open to false. And it's going to be updating the stats. And then it's going to turn the stats back on, or it's going to turn the stats on instead of the attributes. If it does not find that the attributes is open, it's still going to turn the stats menu on. And if it finds that the stats menu is not open, it's going to open it when the button's pressed. And then likewise for the attributes window, it'll look to see if the stats window is already open. If it is, it's going to hide it. And then it's going to open the attributes canvas. Otherwise, if the stats window is not already open, and it sees that the attributes window is open, it's going to turn it off. And lastly, if the attributes window is not open, it's going to turn it on. So take that, save that there. Whoops. And press every single wrong button. Okay, so hide you. Go to my player, press F to focus it. And let's see. Does anything yell at me? No. Good. I can still walk. I can see that my health is set up there. It's a little bit spaced. Did I set it that way? Oh, hell. Where did I set the stats? Oh, I didn't set spaces. I wonder if it's working right then. We try. Stat manager. Max health. 5? Doesn't look like it. So there's the skills window. There's the stats window. And if I open one over the other, it swaps them. But it doesn't seem like the max health is talking to the text. Do you want a tip so that you don't always have to reload the domain and wait when you enter play mode? What do you mean? That's not just like a thing? Like this? I mean, yeah, I'll hear it. I just thought that's. Oh, I just thought that was the way that it was. What's this? Create spline. Don't think I've seen that before. Okay, let's see. Edit project settings, editor, scroll down. Enter play mode settings. I see. Hmm. So what is the domain? Do you know? Neat. Yeah, definitely gets you into play mode faster. That's a good tip. I'm curious about what that domain is. Um, so let's see. I think, whoops, I think he's all done with this. I guess we'll finish
And
out this
finally,
video.
make sure that our skill tree open is true. All right, so back in Unity, you can just click on your skills canvas. We can add that toggle skill tree script on there. Make sure that it knows which canvas group it's toggling. And now we can head into our game. However, you may have noticed something that I did not, which is that my level seems to be going up and down randomly when I do a test. The reason for this is because somewhere along the line, in my experience canvas on the slider component, I clicked interactable, making it so that left and right button presses toggle the slider back and forth, so I just
Interesting.
need to turn that off. Sorry about that if that caused any confusion. There's just one
Very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
small thing to fix. When we get in the game, we can see that pressing 2 does in fact toggle our menu. However, when I attack, I get to attack once and then never again. So let's quickly fix that. The reason this is happening is just the way we've set up our player movement script, which is a little more of a player controller dealing with a bunch of different things the player can do. And in our update method, we have our slash being toggled when we push it. All we need to do here to make it so that this doesn't happen that first time is just add one more condition, and that is that if player combat is enabled equals true. Now, if it's turned off, we will no longer be able to attack, not even that first time. All right, as a final setup, we'll just click on our skills canvas, make sure the alpha is
I
set to
see.
0 to start, and that block raycast is also turned off. All right, so now when I get in the game, pushing left and right is no longer toggling my experience. I can press 2 to bring up my menu. However, when I'm in the game, if I press my attack key, there is no attack happening, not even the first time. I can press 2 now to unlock the combat ability, leave this menu, and now I have the ability to attack. I can battle a few enemies, gaining experience each time. And when I reach a full level, I can go back to my menu and notice that my ability points are back up to 5, even though I spent that point at the beginning there. I can update, giving myself more max health, but eventually running out of points. All right, that's working. I hope you found this one helpful. If there's any special skills or additions you'd like to see to the system, let me know. If there's enough
Okay.
interest, I will make a fourth and final video where we just look at
Just curious if he ends up making that fourth video here. Let's see. Boy, he's got a lot of tutorials here. I'm kind of glad. This is a great tutorial. Doesn't look like he ever ended up making that. Well, time to put some big boy pants. Well, that's it for the skill tree, it looks like. Yeah, I think so. Basically, it looks like he was just kind of teaching how to make the nodes in UI, how to set up the code to talk to that UI, and some features of it where like we can set unlockables and caps and make it based on skill points, as well as how to earn the skill points to actually spend. So seems pretty light, I guess, at least in the grand scheme of how in-depth skill trees. I know how in-depth skill trees. Holy shit, how in-depth skill trees can be. It seems kind of light. So I guess it's time to put on some big boy pants here and figure some shit out. Um, so let's see. I need two main things here. What I need is for these skills to enable abilities. Um, I need them to be limited by um, or to have a requirement for a certain quantity of attributes per level. And I need to make these buttons increase these attributes if you have skill points to spend. This part seems a little easier, but I just got to figure it. So let's see. What needs to happen is for these buttons, we definitely need an on button press to increase its corresponding attribute. I think we can kind of do something like that because we have. I gotta figure out. I think it's this one. We have this, which is where we spend the available skill point, or sorry, this displays available skill points. This is checking available skill points. So we're going to be reusing some of this logic. Yeah, because this is how to spend them. And how to gain them. So this is for gaining and spending points. Let's see, is it under skill slot? This is how to upgrade the skill. So it's probably going to be something similar to this as well, where we can press the button and update the attribute. What's this one? Oh, this is just adding a scriptable object. Okay. So let me see one thing real quick. Do these buttons exist under their own object? So we've got, oh, I see. We've got stats and buttons. They're separated. So I'll probably have to set which stat block they're associated with. Make a public, I guess, reference to another object. Although it's probably specifically going to be looking at the text, huh? So yeah, stat text. So it's the Text Mesh Pro. So that when this button is pressed, it increases. Yeah, when this button is pressed, it's going to increase this stat, and then this stat is going to have to be referenced elsewhere for other changes. Because I was going to make strength the stat for improving damage, as well as you need a certain amount of stat to unlock or sorry, you need a certain amount of the strength stat to unlock the heavy strike skill and upgrade it. So I guess should be another script. Just copy the logic. Maybe. Boy, big difference from following a tutorial, figuring everything out for myself. So let's see. Maybe I can. No, these are for these. Right. So it's got it on click. Yeah, that's right. This was really confusing and I couldn't figure this out. So we'll get rid of that. How do we do the other button clicks? It's not in here. This public button, right? No, Delulu. This one we just made, so it doesn't need to be this. We need actual logic for in these as well. The is unlocked thing is going to have to come into this somehow. Because of this. I don't think it's this, because this is just handling how you gain experience, which calls later, or is called later by this just empty. This gets called later to see the skill points. I guess this is going to have something to do with it because, oh, yeah, this is going to have something to do with it too. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. Boy, I might have just set myself up for a lot of work. Whoops. Okay. So I guess first things first, let me just make a new script so I have something blank to work with. I can copy logic out of other things, and if I want to put it into another script later, I can do that. We're going to do this script called attribute increase. So for attribute increase, what do we need to know? We're going to need to know the stats text, the attribute text, what that's going to be changed. So I guess that's TMP, whoops, TMP, fuck me, man. Text. Oh, right. Using TM Pro. So actually, public TMP text called attribute text. We're going to need the button. So public button called attribute button. When the button is pressed, it needs to increase the attribute. So we need the attributes text, we need the button, we need the skill points. So we need to know how many skill points there are, because we have to spend that skill point to increase that, and then we need to decrease the amount of skill points once it's spent. So that logic I'm pretty sure I can get from somewhere. Check available points. Gonna take this. The only thing is this and this, I need to understand how these are working here. So in this method called check available skill points, skill slot is a script that it's looking to for slot. Oh, that's right. What the fuck is slot? I was trying to figure this out the other day, and I confused the hell out of myself. So it was whatever has, that's skill tree manager. Whatever has skill tree manager, slot. These are my slots. Skill slot. And slot.try upgraded skill, which is in this. So we're trying this, which is saying if the skill is unlocked and the current level is less than the max level of the skill, the skill SO.max level is set here. It increases the current level, which public int current level um, and it's the text of the skill level text. So we have to, there we go. Okay. Skill level text is current level, toString with the slash and the max level. Max level set here. Current level is here, where we're increasing the count of the current level because it's an integer. And then that's how it displays the text. So this works well for like his stats where you increase it and it gives you a stat immediately. So this is probably what we're going to need, something like this. So we've got our buttons. Do we need something like current? I mean, I guess if we're going to be increasing it, huh? Okay, let's try it. Public int called attribute um, attribute number, I guess. So now that's important for each skill slot in slot, or sorry, for each slot, for each skill slot in skill slots. I see. So this, do Do we need these subscriptions here? Because, yeah, because handles. Oh, shit. Hang on, I just confused myself. So I think that the attribute buttons pretty much just need to be included in this skill tree manager right in here. Because we can add another one as skill tree slots or skill slots, but then we can also add attribute slots. I think that's what needs to happen. So public skill slot of skill slots. And let's do public at attribute slots called attribute slots. We don't like this because skill slot is a script already. So we need attribute increase. Oh, okay, right. Where this is saying, hmm, wait, eh? Um, available skill points is from here. Does that mean I need does that mean I need to do like huh? Huh? Oh shit. Doesn't like that. An object reference is required for the non-static field method or property. Is that where I have to have something like oh shit, man. Well, what if I do this instead? Just gonna kill this. Let's go attribute slot. Basically, I want everything here. Um, but I gotta rename some shit. No, wait, I don't need that one. Don't need that one. Button. Give me my button. Oh, and then this. Shit, man. How am I modifying this? want this to be attribute number without the cap. And I need this to be attribute button. Is unlocked is not necessary. We can keep the current level. So the only problem is this was referencing a scriptable object. So do I need another scriptable object? Probably, yes. Well, let's see, because these scriptable objects are the buttons. The buttons also display it on themselves, but I can customize where the text goes. So I think these do need to be scriptable objects. All I was really setting in them was the name, because it's these. All I was setting is the name and the max skill level. If I skip the max skill level part and just set the name, that still gives me the scriptable objects to reference, and I can associate it with strength attribute button, dexterity attribute button, yeah. So I think let me try that because I'm pretty much just copying, but doing something different. I think we'll see how stupid that is. Create a not mono behavior script, scriptable object script called attribute so. Open that as well. Let's see. I know this is just bare bones. Yeah, all I really need is public string attribute name. And now I can replace references to skill SO with attribute SO. And instead of skill level text, it's going to be, what, you don't like attribute SO? Right, because I need this. Public skill SO. I need public attribute SO, attribute SO. And this has to be cap. So instead of skill level text, I need attribute number. Don't need as unlocked. I this logic sucks for this part though. Because it's never gonna be locked, but do I mirror the functionality anyway and just have it always unlocked? Well, I guess it would be locked if it hit a cap, like, I don't know, 99. I don't ever see that being a thing though. Because if you can only ever have a level cap of like 99, none of the stats would ever get to 99. Or I guess they could. Once. Different problem. Worry about that another time. So I also see on skill point spend. That should stay the same. I think the update UI is already covered. Maybe not. You know what? Let me. Mm, actually, let me. Let me I don't think I want try upgrade skill because try upgrade skills for if it's locked. So we're going to need a new method that we'll call increase attribute, where we'll do, oh shit. Yeah, you know what? Attribute level is fine. Well, I guess I don't need to fuck with that. Fuck it. If current level is, I don't know, less than 99. I know we don't want magic numbers in there, but we'll do it. We'll do it the fancy way. With a max attribute number, there. We'll just set it to something like, I guess 99. It's fine. So the way this one does it is current level is, I think I actually had it backwards. I think I had it greater than 99. That would have been stupid. Is greater than, so sorry, if current level is less than attribute so dot max attribute number. Current level plus plus on skill point spend invoke this and update UI. So in order to update UI in this one, what did we do? I guess all we really need is this then. The text. That's it. Not skill level text. Attribute number. Attribute number dot text equals current level to string. I think that's it. I think that's what we need. So if attribute SO is not null and attribute number is not null, update the UI for on validate. We've got the public void for increase attribute, which says on skill point spend, which let me find this so that I can understand how this is doing it. Public static event action skill slot on skill point spend. Public static event attribute slot on skill point spend. Hope that's not too crazy, right? Oh, need to change this now to attribute slot. Um, so I think what I need in here is to subscribe to that attribute slot dot on skill point spend. Now, does this become a problem because they have the same name? No overload. I don't know what that means. I'm going to hold this for a second. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to comment it out. because oh shit. No, wait. This is different. Don't need this. Because this is just for those skills. Um, what would need to know then? Because in here, we're going to have logic for how it's handling the skill point spend. This. This is what needs it. So this handles skill point spend is doing this. This is what needs it. This is what needs it. Attribute slot dot on skill point spend plus equals handle skill point spend. But it has a problem with this, probably because of this, huh? Hmm. Should I just call it attribute? Does that make it different? Fuck. So what is this? No overload matches. It looks like it's missing a variable. The function requires a parameter the way it is. I just don't understand because it's handling these two subscriptions just fine, and I don't think they're much different. I mean, eh, that didn't change anything. Um, because this one's from skill slot, which the way skill slots is set up is like this: public static event action skill slot on skill point spend. I literally copied the line action attribute slot on attribute point spend, which I don't even think needs to be different. It can probably still be skill point spend. Um, but just for the sake of separating it, is I don't think I spelled it wrong. No, it looks spelled right. Spend. Public static event. Public static event. What else is happening with this? Invoke this on skill point pen. Is it because nothing's set in it yet? Maybe? Do I have to come in here? Um, maybe. Let me see. So in this, we've got skill tree manager script, skill manager script. I know the skill SO was set to the buttons in the, oops, in here, yes? Skills section, background. Skill slot is set to this button as a whole. So by that logic, in attributes, buttons, I need to put wait a sec. How did I make these again? Right. Create scriptable object. Where the hell is it? Oh, I don't remember. Just casual little. Wait, this isn't changeable. Did I just drag it to this? Huh? Fuck, man, I'm doing everything wrong. It's a skill slot. These don't have anything on them. So where does this go? Well, guess it's time for a little refresher. Um,
Hey everyone, it's Matt here with Nightrun Studio, and in this video, we're creating a skill tree system. This system has room for multiple skill trees, unlockable tiers, and we'll be using scriptable objects to make highly customizable skills that can buff character stats or unlock new skills and abilities. In this first video, we're creating our user interface. Let's get started. Now, whether you've been following along with the whole RPG series or just joining us now, this video should work for you. Throughout this series, I'm using Pixel Frog's Tiny Swords asset pack. You can find this the whole time a level display. And let's just drag the stats canvas on there so it's cleaned up. We're then going to create a new UI canvas called the Skills Canvas. Now, we're thing, and I'm going to use banner transform. I'm going to
is
set
this
mine
just
to
the UI
1200
video?
by
Oops.
1200.
I think it's this one.
Hey everyone, it's Matt here with Nightrun Studio, and in this video, we're setting up our skill tree. By the end of the video, you'll be able to create skills, upgrade them, and set special prerequisites for unlocking new tiers in your tree. Eventually, we'll also hook this up to our existing systems, so that we can upgrade stats, unlock new abilities, and gain skill points when gaining levels. But that part will come in the next video. So, let's get started. Setting up our skill tree is going to include 3 scripts. The first is a scriptable object, which will store data about our skills, like its name, how many times you can upgrade it, and its display icon. The second script will be for the skill slots themselves, so handle our sharp script components. This means we won't have access to the start and update methods. We can make sure that this inherits from scriptable object instead of mono behavior, and then we can create some references. Our first one will be a public string, which is the skill name. We'll also make a public sprite, which will be the icon that will appear on the skill slot. At this point, we're going to come above the class name and we're going to type new skill. And then we're also going to make a menu name, which will equal skill tree slash skill. And I'll delete that extra bracket I threw.
Oh! Uh, it's something to do with this.
Adding that asset menu section allows us to create skill tree now. And we can go to skill in order to make as many.
So what did it call it? Scriptable objects attribute SO. Got it. So I'm gonna do this under skill. Whoops, skill tree. Is that how it is in here? Right click, create skill tree, and this is under skill, so I want attribute. That's it. I forgot all about that. So let's see. Does it want to work now? Fuck. Yeah, what are you yelling at down here? Go away. No, doesn't want to work. So what the fuck? Oh. Type or namespace attribute increase cannot be found. You're missing a director of part of yeah, whatever. Um fuck, man. Uh uh whack.
Any of these scriptable objects as we want. We can just give them a name, skill, in order to allows delete that extra bracket I threw in.
No space. Wait, did he do the second cap though? Yes. Eh? Eh? Fuck, man. Come on. Come on. File name attribute SO, menu name skill tree attribute SO as compared to his is. File name is new skill, menu name
In there
skill
for no
tree
reason.
skill.
Adding that asset menu section allows us to create skill tree now. And we can go to skill in order to make as many of these scriptable objects as we want.
Okay. Okay. However, what's tweaking on me? Here, we'll do this. Go away for right now. How about now, buddy? Oh, there's two. So I did put the space. How about now, buddy? Let's go. Boop. Attribute name. We'll do the strength attribute. And we're going to do strength 99. Oops, 99. Did I do that wrong too? Oh, I don't want to. Okie dokie. That's right. Hmm. Strength attribute. Oh, it's still got the fucked up name. Why? You know what? It doesn't really matter. Strength, caps 99. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's going to be dexterity attribute for dexterity. This one's going to be, what's next? Intelligence. Something I lack. Oops, I renamed the wrong one. Undo. Intelligence. Case in point, by the way. Intelligence attribute. Do one for each. Constitution. Endurance. Okay, so we got the scriptable objects for each of them. What's next? That array. Huh? Uh-huh. Uh, strength. Oh, oh, okay. Just put it in here manually. I know he did it some way before with the oh wait, this is for the fucking slot. All right.
We can just give them a name. I'll call this one Max Health Boost. And then over on the right here, we can type the actual skill name as we may want it to appear in the game later on, how many levels it will have, and we can also attach our skill icon. I'm going to attach my heart for this one. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and make a whole bunch of skills right now, but I'm just going to do the one for the moment. Now that we've got our skills created, let's create our skill slot script. So we can go create C# script and call it skill slot. Before we do anything else, we just want to hook our skill slot up to a specific scriptable object. So let's make a public skill SO reference called skill SO. And our first task is going to be to make it so that the scriptable object can actually control the appearance of each skill slot. So to do this, we need here we just need to add the name. At this point, we can create to make sure, then we'll make it so that the scriptable object, my combat panel here, where I've got all of my different skill buttons, and I don't want to have to add this onto each of them, which is why we made them into prefabs. So I'm just going to click the prefab itself. I'll go into scene view here just so I can kind of see it. It's unimpressive looking. And on the parent object here, I'll just close up these other components to make things cleaner and easier to see. We're going to go add component and put our skill slot in here. Now for the moment, we don't want to fill this scriptable object as that will be different for each one, but we can fill the icon by heading over.
I think that's what I'm looking for. So I need the buttons. Let's see. So when I look at this button, I see skill slot script with the scriptable object inside. Oh my eye. Sorry. We'll go to the attributes section. We want the attributes buttons, not the stat blocks, which they're blue. Did I actually make them into prefabs? Now, why on earth would I do that? Whatever, works for me. Called attribute slot. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. So now we'll go back to these where we see attribute slot. God, my eyes giving me problems. Um, gonna go back into here with the skill scripts. Attribute button 1. They're gonna be level 1. And strength is going in this one. The attribute button is you. The attribute number. Oh. So this is where it's going to change up. Hang on. It's coming together. Stat text. Okay. Uh, okay, okay. Hang on. Uh, Let me double check. So it should be that in the strength attribute, then attribute name is strength. So then we're going to adjust the slot to say attribute number dot text equals attribute, hang on, plus attribute so dot, no, it doesn't like that. It's because it's got a cap. Attribute so dot attribute name uh plus colon, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Wait, what the fuck? Why do you have a problem with this now? This. Sorry. Sorry. This. Hello? I have caps lock on? This. Save. That should be Gucci now. Coming together. Coming together. So now what we should see, strength 1. I'm actually going to put a space though. Save. Yes. Okay. A little bit of progress here. A little bit at a time. So, next slot is going to be our dex attribute. Current level is 1. Attribute button is U. Attribute number text is U. Ooh, okay. This is most excellent. So next we've got the Intel button, which is going to take the Intel scriptable object. We're going to set her to 1. We're going to grab your button, and then we're going to grab 1, 2, 3 text. Okay, a little bit of progress. Let's do Constitution. Uh, eh? Eh? And last but not least, oops, big boy endurance. Uh, okay, okay. So now we've got the buttons, scriptable objects hooked up to the right text. Um, yes, yes, we do. We have it hooked up to the right text. We've got the update UI. And so now, actually, now that it's set, we need to come to the skills page, and this, fuck. So what's the equivalent skill slot? It's a script, yeah? No, it's the object, the script object. So lock U. We need a new inspector. We need to go to this guy and grab this. Yeah, fuck yeah. And now we need to get this. Just gonna grab these one by one. That should be right. So now I'm gonna save this. And what this should do is, with this being in here, it's added as a in the array for the attribute slots. Now is this gonna yell at me? Fuck, man. Why? So it wasn't because it had to have something set. It's something else. No overload. Oh, wait, is that it? It's this. Oh. Okay. Well, we can't have duplicate methods. Do I just make a whole nother method for the attribute point spend? I can't reuse the same one. It's the only thing I can think. I bet there's a cleaner solution, but I don't know what it is. So, and I just realized. I'm sorry. Hang on. We'll let some music run. Not that loud though. My bad. Probably a little jump scare. It scared me. So here's how I'm gonna do it. Hola, hola. How's it going, man? We're gonna redo this here to handle attribute point spend. What do you have a problem with? Calls ambiguous? What's the game about? Well, we're just following a practice tutorial here on YouTube for kind of making a first game. I'm just kind of learning by doing. So basically, we're just making a practice game where we're just going to run around using some of these free assets that we got. We've got some knights and some backdrops here. It's got other stuff in it, but currently, yes, it is my first game, and I'm just trying to make something, basically. So we're following a tutorial for making this kind of style of game, and trying to absorb as much as possible from how to do certain things here. Currently, we're adapting. He's got a video here for a skill tree, and his skill tree is a little bit different than mine. That's a better example. His skill tree is a little bit different than mine, so I'm currently trying to adapt his instructions. How long have I been with this? Well, I've been streaming fairly for like the last month or so. I've been trying to get working on this for a lot longer. I don't know. I probably accumulated to about 2 months of experience, maybe less than that, probably. What was I left off on? Oh yeah, things were getting upset up here. Oh, that's why it's ambiguous. Handle attribute point spend. There we go. No more whining up here. Except for this. Now what do you want? This. Attribute slot. And we're not going to call it skill slot. We'll call it attribute slot. Okay. We're done whining. We're done complaining about this shit. Cool. So now we'll unsubscribe and the disable. And where was the other one that it was complaining about? Was it in here? It must have been. I don't see any big fat comments anywhere else. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. What did we do? We just set it up. We don't need this anymore. We just set it up so that the buttons in the UI are attached to... Which systems do I have on the game already? Basically what I've got so far is a little bit of movement. Some basic animation. We've got a little bit of AI, and we've got some UI going with the health and some XP. It's very bare bones. I guess it'd be UI, movement, enemy, um, yeah, enemies, and now we're just kind of developing a skill tree for stat changes. It's all pretty light so far, but I'm kind of happy with the progress. Um, Back to this. So we got our buttons. We got them attached to the text. We got them in here. It's a good base. Yeah, it is. I'm happy with where we're at. So let me try this. Go to, we'll try 5. And for the skills, I'll turn it off. I think you should start with your own game. Well, to be fair, I would love to. Um, I'm kind of going with right now to see, like I said, learn by doing, and I kind of think the learn by doing is a little bit harder without a clear goal, especially with like not having done this before. So when I watch this tutorial and I see, you know, hey, here's what we're going for, by the end of the video, yeah, I have my goal. I know how to make it get to that. And I'm not just copy and pasting the tutorial here, so I kind of am. I'm just using a basis where somebody's giving some good instruction. It's harder to learn if you stick with the tutorial. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. We were actually talking about this earlier, talking about how we're doing the adaptation to try to make it a little more personal, which that's honestly kind of why I'm struggling. Exactly what you're saying. It's harder to learn if you stick with the tutorial. That's kind of what I'm struggling with right now, is I'm having to make something that was working from a tutorial work for something new. I don't know. I mean, everybody starts somewhere. I'm trying to do this. I will move on to making my own game afterwards. Tutorial hell. Yeah, I'm trying not to do that, though, in particular, where I just run tutorials on repeat. I'm trying to avoid that. So let's see. Let's check this. Opening my menus works. And let's try buttons. Okay, so currently I can press the button. It's not doing anything. These ones are working, which means whatever's calling the... Okay, so we're like halfway there. We need to get this to call the changes for the skill points. So let's see. We've got these, which this feels sloppy that it's 2 different ones and I can't just pass something in these, but it kind of works. I disagree with you being in disagreement with me. Oh boy, here we go. So we've got the update skill points, but that one isn't cooperating. So this. I guess I just need another one of these, right? For each of the attribute slots. In attribute slots, we need the button to add the listener to check the available skill points. So let's just copy. And go attribute slot. For each attribute slot in attribute slots. Oh, slots. Slot dot skill button. Why is this yelling at me? Attribute slot does not contain a definition for skill button. Well, that would do it. So let's see why. Skill slots says on button skill button. So then this one is on button attribute button. No worries. What do we like? Cannot convert attribute slot into skill slot. Uh, that's fair. Uh, eh? Fuck. Okay, so I've got the logic wrong in here. Slot.skillButton.onClick.add listener. So this is saying a slot. So wait, what if I do this? Since I know this one is working, S slot, S slot. Now this is a problem. S slot. That is working. So, Now what is this one's problem? Cannot convert. Yeah, we're not, right? Or why does it think that? Check available points. Oh, that's why. This feels so stupid. I'm just duplicating all of this logic. There's got to be a better way. I need them to use the same stuff. There's no reason that I have to duplicate it like this. But I don't know what the answer is, so I guess... Does that work? No. Attribute does not contain a definition for try upgrade skill. Okay. Does that mean it's in here? Yep. What's it called? Increase attribute. Doesn't it? Did I spell it wrong? Oh. So what is it that I'm doing? Public void try upgrade skill. Public void increase attribute. Let's break it down this way then. For each skill slot called S slot in skill slots, sslot.skillButton.onClick, add listener, check available skill points. So what we're doing is we're coming in here. A slot is an attribute. Yeah. Oh. Hey, look at that. I'm getting real tired of the word slot. Well, that's working then. Or is it? No, so let's see. We've got two of these. Now these. Actually, no, we do have two of these. Because this is now calling back to you. That's good. It's assigned to go to the casino and play big money slots. Oh, Lord. What money? And now this can call the method. Well, I kind of did it here where these are referencing one thing, so maybe that's what I need to do. I just need to play with the methods. I mean, this will work, but God, is it gross looking. I mean, maybe just see if this works, right? Wait, let me check the others. Yeah, I don't need this yet. Or do I? Possibly. Let's do another line. Attribute slot dot. Oh god, what's it called in here? This one's on skill point spend. This one's on attribute point spend. Should be easy. On attribute point spend plus equals. Fuck. Okay. This one actually does need another though. This one makes a lot more sense. Dude, what's the switch statement? It doesn't have logic right now. His tutorial was a little bit different. I just don't have logic for it yet. Yes. It was in this last video here. Where is it? There we are.
Hey,
Let's see. Oh, too far. Is this it? Not sure if that's the best idea. Me either. Ah. Those should be some kind of scriptable object or something like that. So I do actually have them as scriptable objects. What does that change when it comes to the using the switch case though? Is there a different way to put it in here? Okay, so we'll leave that there. I'm not sure how to explain it in English. Oh, gotcha. That's actually fair. So let's see. I do have it as scriptable objects in here. He didn't cover them too in depth. I kind of don't understand them so well right now. Let's see. So we've got the scriptable objects. We've got two portions. That's actually a little easier to show. We've got two portions of our skill tree where we have like attributes and we have skills. Each of these buttons is basically a scriptable object, and so is each of these. These buttons are attached to these displays, and these are kind of their own instance. I think what the intention was whenever we spend the skill point in one of those skills, the scriptable objects, it's going to have some logic where I think he said that this was supposed to be for, but you shouldn't want to have a switch statement that is going to have more and more cases. Well, here, let me see. Mm, you go away.
log warning.
Let me
And then
see.
in quotation marks, we're just going to say
Yeah, let me restart this
because
section
it
where
knows
he's
it's
doing the
a method.
switches.
Cases that stored the skill's name, we're just going to create sort of a library of different skills that can be upgraded, and we'll sort through that library to find the one that matches this skill name. Now, we could do this with a wild set of if statements, but if statements can get messy fast, and so here we're going to introduce a switch case method instead.
Control statement that checks a variable against different values and executing specific code depending
So
on
we can
which
just type a
matches.
switch. In this case, our switch will be the skill name, and then we'll come up with a bunch of different cases that could possibly happen. Now, for our first case, we want to print in here the name of our skill that will upgrade our max health. If I pop back into Unity and go into my skills folder, I can see that I've created one, the first one in fact, on my skill tree, and it's called Max Health Boost. I'm just going to copy that name exactly. Now I'm just going to paste it in inside of quotation marks, and I've created my first possible case. We'll then add a colon, and underneath we can add as many lines of logic as we want, though fortunately ours is only going to take one. Here we're just going to talk to our stat manager.instance and tell it that we want to run its update max health method. And in this case,
Okay, so I guess
I want to
he's
update by
using
1.
this to run a method from another script. Um, that kind of makes sense. What if you change the name of a skill that would break? Yes, probably. Um, what do you think the alternative is? Or another alternative? One alternative is to use strongly typed enums, enumerations, easy to maintain and modify. Okay. Um, hmm. Well, that's definitely going to have to be something that I take a peek into because I don't know what those are really. Prevents string-based errors. Okay, see that one I was wondering because in the portion in here where he goes in and says like grab the exact should be a class ability that has a generic on point spend. Okay, see, I think what you guys are telling me is what I was hoping for, it being a little more clean. But I'm just, the truth is, I just don't really know how to do that right now. Do you guys happen to have resources that can tell me what to do or check it out? Or tell me what to look up? And whenever you spend a point, the attribute class, it does what it needs to. I mean, it sounds good. You can do both, but most certainly learn enumerations. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, do I have there? No. Unity documentation. Let's see. Yeah, all right, we ball. Mm, does this work? Just C sharp? I mean, it is the same scripting language. I just don't know if it. Okay.
All right, what's going on, people? Enums. Enums are a special kind of class that contains a grouping of names.
Copy that switch statement into an IA and ask what. Oh, AI, and ask what you should do to avoid putting all that logic in the method. Okay.
named integer
I can try that too.
constants. We tend to use enums when we have values that we know will not change. So here's an example. Let's create an enum of planets, and we will associate a planet number with each named planet. So to create an enum, type enum, then a unique name, kind of like we're
Yeah,
creating a
I'm
class,
sure.
then curly braces. So I'm going to add the
And
name
the other thing that I'm wondering is if he just set this up as like a placeholder and he has plans to explain how to replace it or something later.
of each planet within our solar system, beginning with Mercury, and then separate each with a comma. So we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, then just continue on in this pattern. This isn't necessary, but I like to place each of my members on a new line within an enum. I think it's easier to read. Okay, we now have an enum of planets,
Okay.
and there's an associated integer with each of these members. If we do not explicitly set an integer, by default, the first member is 0, then 1, 2, 3, then you just follow that pattern. So let's access one of these members of our enum of planets. Let's display a message. Planets.Pluto is a planet.
That's an enum struct, but in Unity, always set an integer number for serialization. Okay, how do you? Well, maybe he'll talk about
So
it.
to access a name of one of these members, you type the name of your enum, planets, dot, the
Yep.
name of your named member, Pluto.
Mhm.
This will return the name, not the integer. Let's try it. Pluto is a planet.
Genius.
This is no different from using the toString method. This will do the same thing. Pluto is a planet. Okay, now if we need the associated integer with each of these named members, we would cast this member as an integer. Let's change our message around. Let's say that planets.Mercury is planet number. Then to access one of the integers stored within a member, that would be planets dot the name of a planet, Mercury, and then we will precede this with parentheses int. This will convert our named member into an integer. So our message is now Mercury is planet number 0. So these named members always begin with 0, but we can change that and set them. Let's say that Mercury equals 1, Venus equals 2, and then continue on in this
Is that it? The setting the integer number?
pattern. Let's display Pluto as well, because Pluto is feeling left out. Planets.Pluto
Okay, gotcha.
is planet number, planets.Pluto, then cast as an integer. Okay, Mercury is planet.
You have a reason for that, or just it's clean? It seems to work better, more consistently, or it's just required?
Number 1, Pluto is planet number 9. Let's try something a little bit more complex. Let's create an enum to keep track of the radius of each planet. Enum, planet, radius. And
If you don't and you reorder an enum or move one, your items will get the next instead of their assigned number. Oh, I see. So basically, it's for proper ordering, like you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
let me just copy this. Okay, here's
They will always use the right one. Gotcha. I hear you. Okay.
the radius of each planet in kilometers. Mercury is 2439.6051 for Venus. And then I'll just fast forward the footage. You can copy this down if you'd like. All right, we have the radius in kilometers of each planet. So these are in name integer pairs. Let's create a variable to store the name of one of our planets. String name equals, what about Earth? Planet radius, the name of our enum, dot the name of our member, Earth. So if we're going to store this within a string variable, we need to use the toString method. And then let's display this just to test it. Let's say planet :space plus name. And this should display just Earth. Planet Earth. Okay, let's get the radius of Earth. Int radius equals planet radius dot earth, then cast this as an integer. Console
Those magic strings are something you should avoid in code. Magic string is hard-coded numbers in the string. I have heard of that one before. We talked about that before. So, okay.
dot right line, let's say radius colon space plus radius. Radius 6371. Let me add kilometers.
You don't replace the name, you add an additional property. The string name would be a different property. Sorry, enums are great to avoid those magic strings. Okay.
So that's kind of the nice thing about enums is that we don't necessarily need to remember all of these numbers. It's kind of like we're storing variables, so to say. They are name integer constants that will not change through the life of a program. Now let's move on to a challenge round. Let's create a method that will calculate the volume of one of our planets when we pass in a radius. Public static will return a double, and this will be the volume method. And there is one parameter. The parameter is planet radius, and we will name this just radius. Okay, we need to return, let's say, volume. And double volume equals, and here's the formula to calculate the volume of a sphere. 4.0 divided by 3.0 times math.pi times our radius to the power of 3. So we can use math.power, pass in our radius, make sure to cast this as an integer to the power of 3. And let's call the volume method and store this within a...
So he's using the int value of the enum to do calculations. Not extremely relevant, but that is a use case. I hear you. Yeah, his might be a little more centered around actual code as opposed to the game dev.
double named volume.
Well, actual
Double
code.
volume equals, we will invoke the volume method and pass in planet radius dot earth. And then we'll display the volume. Okay. Console.writeLine.
For indexing purposes, I hear you.
Volume colon space plus volume. And I think that's in cubed kilometers. All right, and the volume of Earth is whatever number this is. 1083 something 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 cubed kilometers. So yeah, those are enums. They're like a special class that contains a set or grouping of named integer constants. We tend to use enums when we have values that we know will not change. And to get the integer value from an item, you must explicitly convert it to an integer. So yeah, those are enums. If you found this video helpful, please be sure.
Okay, so to apply this here, I guess I'll just do it. Okay. For indexing, not calculations. I put these in quotes. Enums can't have spaces. Use camel casing. And use equals 0. Okay. So I think then I will put these on different lines. Camel casing. Okay. So must begin with uppercase. Okay, so how I guess how am I replacing this with this here? So I know I don't have logic right now, but um let's see. Either make it public on its own or put it in the skill slot class. Like this. Ask the AI for a pattern to do this in a better way. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Can you help me replace this uh, with something more efficient like an enum? Ask for the name of the pattern and then search it. Skill slot class needs to have public skills enum property. Ooh, we're using big words. Skill slot class. So you have ss.skillslot. Yeah, this guy. Where'd it go? This guy. Okay. So this part needs to be redone with this, or the new skill enum. Yes, cut that enum and put it in the skill slot class. Cut it as in like just the name skills, or like you want this whole thing. Add a declaration. Cut the snippet. Okay. Hang on. Let me see this. This might help me understand. Hmm. It's like you're making a new type, like an int or a string, but now we have a new type called skills. So not this. You're saying that's not what you're talking about. In here, put this. Okay. So okay, put this in there. And then in here we're doing Yes? No. Now add. Oh, that's right. Okay. Public skills. Like so this like this one that's already here, or I need another one? No, that's because the SO. Public skill. Public skills. Skills. And go to, oops. Go away. No. So in here, gotta save. We're adding this, making it public so that we can reference it. No, not there yet. Oh, wait, this is looking at skill SO, so then skill slot? No. Because when it's like this, it's looking for the actual name of it. So what we're doing is we're replacing this with skills. Because instead of this, hang on, I'm close. Because the skill name needs to be skill slot. Now instead of using string, just switch on the slot skills. Oh, now instead of using a string, just switch on. Delete the whole line. Who needs it anyway? Oh, that makes sense. So then, but weren't we supposed to be doing that to remove switch, or we're just replacing all of these cases? Oh, strongly typed switch. Okay. Okay. Oh, I missed it. It's a new. Hey man, thanks for the follow. Let's see. Let me check this out. Strongly typed switch C sharp. Okay, fuck the AI overview. That's confusing as shit. Let's see. We'll pull this up. So instead of case heavy strike, you would have the enum name there from the new enum construct you created. Then you can change the string name at any time without risking. Oh, so like 0? Case 0, because it's referring to this, which is looking at this. And I would just rename it here and it would take care of it over here. That's what you mean. You could do that, but that's not self-documenting. Okay, yeah, I guess it would be confusing as shit. You're looking at this like, what the fuck is that? So then what, like, You're saying this? Oh. Oh, thanks, autofill. Hmm. So now just do that for each, and you can change the name as often as you want or use different languages. Interesting. Mm, ah, fucking insert. Strings have a lot of overhead compute power added. Really? So like using them often is it would generally slow it down. Um, Nothing noticeable for something this small, but I have to wear it for many iterations. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. It is nice to work for. It's nice to know how enums work, but this calls for different things. Hmm. How do you mean? Like, like this is different than what you were talking about using? Because I think Tonkers was trying to explain how to do the, what did you call it? Strongly worded. Wait, strongly typed switch. You were trying to get rid of the switch, right? There should be an abstract skill slot that knows that each skill has something to do when you spend a point on the skill, and then each skill have the implementation of that code. Okay. Well, thanks, Tonkers. I definitely appreciate the lesson here. Um, let's see. There should be an abstract skill slot that knows that each skill has something to do when you spend a skill point on the skill, and then each skill has the implementation of that code. Using events and inheritance? Oh, Lord. Okay. Um, hmm. So how do we get started on that? What is the abstract skill slot? Where does that go? What do I do with it? Is that something that I have to just like make an object for in Unity, or do you know what an abstract class is? No, sir. Okay. Tend to be inherited by concrete classes. Can have methods, properties, indexers, and events marked with the abstract modifier. Can contain non-abstract members. For common functionality to be shared among the derived class. Cannot be sealed. An abstract class cannot be declared as sealed. Is a blueprint that defines what group of classes look like. Okay. Oh, not the gets and sets. Protected. Oh, maybe it's just public class dog animal. Oh, okay. So you can use the blueprint without saying which class you're using. Is that what it is? Like you're saying without this? Like I can use a method without having to specify this or public string name get set. Okay. An abstract property with implementation. A non-abstract property. So it doesn't matter which skill you spent the point on, it always does the same thing. Okay. So like regardless of which point I'm spending the skill point on, it's always like removing a skill point and putting in or like reducing the count especially for something like this. Doesn't matter which one I'm putting it in, it needs to just remove the skill point and increase the skill that it's associated with. I think I see what you mean. And that same thing is go to the skill class and execute the specific code for that skill. You're right. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so let me keep reading this. In this example, the animal class provides common functionality like name and eat, but forces derived classes like dog to define their specific sound behavior via the make sound method. You cannot do new animal Fido, but you can do animal my dog equals new dog Fido. Hmm. You know what? Let me just run this. Oh, look at that. It's the same guy.
All right, what's going on? Abstract classes. Abstract is a keyword that we.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this might be a little too advanced for me right now. I'm open to like try and um see what it is first to give it a little more time to like click. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to work it in right now because I am having some trouble figuring this one out here. But I'll look into it as a starting
We
point.
can apply to classes, properties, and methods, but in this video we're going to focus on abstract classes. Now you can apply the
And honestly, this guy has good tutorials. I'm probably gonna use his channel to do some studying.
abstract keyword, it's a modifier to a class, and that indicates that this class is missing components or is an incomplete implementation. So let's take a
Oh,
look. We're
okay.
using inheritance here. So I have a class vehicle. Vehicle has a speed field as well as a go method, and there's three children classes: car, bicycle, and boat. And these are complete implementations. So
Mm,
car has four wheels and a max speed of 500, bicycle has two wheels, a max speed of 50, and boat has zero wheels and a max speed of 100. I just made up some numbers for the max speed. I can create a car object, bicycle object, and boat object just fine. These are complete implementations. But unfortunately, I can also create a vehicle object. Vehicle equals new vehicle. So vehicle is incomplete. It's missing a number of wheels and a max speed. So imagine that we're having a race and somebody decides to pick the vehicle, but we want somebody to pick a specific implementation of a vehicle, like a car, bicycle, or boat. I would like to prevent people from creating generic vehicle objects. So this is kind of like, imagine somebody picks the invisible vehicle in like a racing game or something. One way in which I can prevent people from instantiating vehicle objects because it's not finished, it's an incomplete implementation, is to precede this class definition with this abstract keyword. So if I precede class with abstract, I can no longer create a vehicle object, cannot create an instance of the abstract type or interface vehicle. So that adds a little bit of security to our programs. If there's a class that you do not want to be
hmm.
able to instantiate objects from, you can just precede that class definition with the abstract keyword, and you cannot create an object from that class. And that's basically what the abstract modifier does. We can indicate that a class, we can also apply this to properties and methods as well, but that's a video for another day. So when we precede a class definition with abstract, we are indicating that that class is missing components or is incomplete, so we should not be able to instantiate objects from this class, which adds a little bit of security. So yeah, that's the abstract keyword. If you found this video helpful, help me out by smashing that like button, leave a random
Mm,
comment down below, and well,
okay. Got about 50% of that maybe. So here's what I'm gonna do. Cause it's almost 3. I'm about to have to go here. I want to finish making sure that I can actually click the point and it take the skill point away and increase the number. That's what I want. Um, as for cleanliness and stuff, I'll probably have to work on that another time. The tutorial's missing something. I felt like it was a little short, you know? Um, so for right now, I want to get these buttons to work. I'll probably talk to one of my buddies who's a CS major. He should be able to help me understand this stuff, and um, and I'll see about cleaning it up using some of that other stuff. You might have to assign the enums in the inspector as well for the skills, the same place you set the names. Sorry for overwhelming you. No, I mean, hey, look, I can tell that you've got a it's coming from a place of care, at least, because you know that there's a better way to do it. That's part of the reason that I'm doing all this is I want other people's opinions on, ooh, that's ghetto. Don't do that. Do this. Like I definitely appreciate the advice. It's just I've got a starting point to work with, you know? Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Object oriented programming. Okay. Yeah, it's obviously something that I'm gonna have to look into, especially because I'm so new at this, right? But yeah, I think right now I got to work on a different goal. But okay, yeah, you guys have given me some great information. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, that's kind of how it feels. Just like because you can. So I think we need to set the enum value in each custom skill. Okay, enum value in each custom skill. Like, you mean like this or something different? in the inspector. Let's see, make sure these are all saved. So let's see, we're looking at skill slots. Um, let's save this. Let me find skill slots. Most likely all defaulted to heavy strike. Okay. So skills heavy strike. Yeah, this is what you're talking about. This is exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, I see. That I wouldn't have expected it to be a drop down. I kind of would have expected it to be one of these like click and drag type deals. So heavy strike is already good. Interesting. Okay, so there's only 6, so I think I got them all. Wait, slow. Cool. So this is kind of adding another like reference to what these actually are, right? Like this is kind of saying that this, or I guess bad example because wrong one, that this, it's putting this script for this slot on this enumerate or on this enum. Oh, you guys can go away now. Thank you. All right, that's cool. Wait, where was it? We did it on these. Yeah, got it. Hmm, interesting. Okay. All right, so back to the goal here. Let's get these buttons. Do they work? No, these do, but these don't. So what do I need? I need this to work for this. Oh, right, that's what I was doing. On attribute point spend, invoke this, and we were coming over here to make sure this works. Available skill points equals this. This is the update skill points. We don't need this. We need. Oh, well then it's broken because I thought I got it working. Unless I just fucked up all the tiny little inputs here because we've got this stupid S slot, A slot. Hmm. So check available points. Connecting chat. What did it do? Did it disconnect or something? Oh well. Um, on start, we're looking at these. We're checking available points. Update skill points. No change. Private void. Check available skill points. In this case, we're doing it based on this. But are these different? Is this going to have problems because this comes after this? No, I don't think so. So then handle skill point spend, handle attribute point spend. I don't think I have this. Oh, no. I'm gonna minimize this so I don't get confused. On skill point spend, on attribute point spend, invoke this. Increase attributes. And attribute number dot text is equal to attribute name, comma, current level to string. Well then, is it doing something silly like not applying? No. And this is instant, so it should be. Damn. Okay. We're not worried about this right now. But I will drop this in here. I don't think I need this anymore, and I don't think I need this anymore for a minute. So let's see. Skill button interactable. Is this it? No, that's for the unlock thing. It should always. Oh, wait. Or is that it? Is it not interactable? Um, it is. So I think what I want is if there is available skill points, I can do this. Otherwise, I want it to gray out the button. But it's not this. It's between these three. I think it's working. Well, what if I. Hmm. Mm-mm. Something not set. It is. Let me try this then. So it's not increasing the current level, even in here. So it's not that it's displaying the wrong text, it's just not getting the current level increase. So if it's not getting the current level increase, this isn't working right. Sorry, this isn't working right, which probably means that it isn't being called right from here. So I guarantee it has something to do with this double nonsense here. Can I just like throw an extra S and A on here to be to separate it more? Will that work? It's not getting confused on something. Nope, not getting confused. Okay. So do you know about breakpoints? I have heard of them, but I don't quite understand the how they get put in or quite how they function. So probably better answer is no, not really. 50? An empty border left of it. Hello. Oh, hey, all the way left. This breakpoint, or this is it. And what happens? Click play, just run it. Oh, click play in Visual Studio. Mm. Now try click a button in Unity. Oh, what the yeah, sure. Now try to click a button in Unity. Do I hit play here too? Oh, boop, boop. Okay. Um, it didn't break. Try another breakpoint somewhere else. Okay, do you think earlier or later? Oh, we keep this one active? Oh, well, then in that case, we'll just try like a couple, right? Let's see. We'll try. This is going to increase attribute. I mean, should I try this one too? Oops. Hello? Oh, we don't like that. Solid green to attach to you. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. This one. We'll just try these methods. See if any of these are. This one probably too. Hopefully that's not too much. Overkill. Are you still doing? Try. So if it doesn't break, that means it didn't get to it. Oh, this? Why does this one have an arrow? It stopped to let you know the breakpoint is hit. Continue. For each attribute and attribute slot. Okay, so this is showing me where it's stopping. So this is what's causing it a problem? There's a small blue arrow to the right. Click the arrow pointing right. No, it's just showing you what it's executing right now. Lifeline line. Okay. Small blue arrow. Not these. Above by the stop button. This guy. Oh, small blue arrows. Click the arrow pointing right. Step over. Okay. Shows me as it happens. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's showing me the values here. Attribute button 3 attribute slot. Meaning, yes, so in this it's executing the assigned listeners. All right. And what? We want to see what the listeners are. Oh, they won't let me. Oh, it's like paused. Okay. Well, I'd say even if it's. You use this to try to look at whatever the problem is, try to track down execution orders. Okay. Um, Clearly the listeners are working, so you can disable that breakpoint and hit continue. So the listeners are listening for the button click is what you're saying. So disable and hit continue. Next one that it stops at is down here in upgrade skill points. So if we try the step over, amount is 0. Oops. Oh, jeez. Whoa, why is it jumping all the way over here? Is that showing what's happening? Whoa, what the fuck is all this? This shit's crazy. Where did that come from? Hmm. But breakpoint where you think the issues might be. Yeah, that's fair. So let's see. So it stopped here. If available skill points is greater than 0, it is, because it says 5. Mm, Max attribute number is 0. So it's not triggering because it thinks that it doesn't meet the conditions. What does it think it is? Uh, can I step once and mouse hover it? Did I do it right? Current level 1. Step to line 26, this one. And it says, so you can hover them and it shows you the values. That's, first of all, really cool. So then, yes, it does think the max attribute number is 0, so it's not triggering the increase attribute. Hmm. Okay, so then in here, no, it's the scriptable object. No, it's not. No, it is. Man, fuck you. Thanks, Tonkers. I know I set these bitches to 99 before. All right, learned something about debugging. That's great too. Let's fucking actually save it and try again. Here's a butte. I'm a little mad about that, but remember that SO keep data between reloads. And hi, SO. Scriptable objects keep data between reloads. Even if I like hit play and like or is that what you mean? Like if I modify it in playtime? Really? Okay, good to know. Maybe that's what I did. Or honestly, I think what I did is I just didn't save it. Heard. Big heard. Okay, well, got it. I think well that takes care of what I was trying to actually accomplish. I guess next task is I need these to actually impact some of the stats when they change. Oh shit, it's 310. I guess I do gotta go then. Okay, well I got my last goal for Tonkers and Enum. I'm gonna study Enums and I guess I'll look into those abstract fuck, what was it called? Abstract classes. I'll look into that a little more. Hey, thanks, Eonir. I think I said that right. Eonir? Eonir? I'll probably be streaming again tomorrow, so if you guys want to pop in then, I'll be glad to look at some more tips or discuss whatever I might have learned over the next couple of days. Um, okay, yeah, one step at a time. Thanks for popping in, guys. I am gonna head out here soon. I gotta get some cooking and some chores done before my girlfriend gets home. But yeah, I think this was productive. I learned a lot of mistakes, which is important, and how to avoid them. So we got some good things going here. I appreciate all the tips and I appreciate the advice from you guys. I will take it to heart, and we'll work on it as we go through this stuff. So um, again, thanks for popping in. You guys have a nice day as well, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Peace.